We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
We're live.
Yes, before we jump into today's show topics, let's start the show with the usual remarkable story I came across on Reddit. I'm going to show the banner now. KaiR, be ready for this one. I'm not trying to get you. I'm not trying to cancel you, but just the question is whether or not it's okay for a woman, a wife in this case, to have a go bag on standby.
What is a go back?
So basically, a go bag is a bag you need to have. Well, some people have in case of emergency or in case something happens, so they can just grab it and go.
Is that a leave a marriage bag?
It can be regarded as a leave a marriage bag. Usually, it's more like leave for now kind of bag.
Okay.
Right? So the thing is, so there are two posts. The first post was deleted by the account holder himself, but he just says that so you can derive from the story. So from the intro of his text that he basically found out that the wife had a go bag, and the go bag was prepared by the wife after she had read some blogs advising for her to do so. Now, there's not a evidence or anything of there being like, like it's a dangerous place for her. Like there have been physical altercations. But apparently, dude posted the story in a previous post, and they said they called him the a-hole. And so he's replying now. He's saying, I made a post 3 months ago, but it was removed before I deleted my account. It has been posted literally everywhere that I think you guys will have no problem finding it if you're interested. After I made my first post, I decided to officially ask for a divorce. She did not take it well. She cried and refused to eat food for 2 days until I filled the house with candy bars. It's a weird thing. She hasn't pulled that kind of stunt ever. She hasn't pulled that kind of stunt after that, thankfully. So, okay, so I get it. So she was crying, and instead of buying food, instead of buying food for her, he bought candy bars. Okay, I get it now.
He knows what she likes.
For the past 3 months, I have to endure her crying, begging me to change my mind. She promised to never make a go back again. Honestly, the previous post has been eye-opening to me. People here called me an ape user when I never did anything to ape user. I read every comment posted here on other subreddits, and it seems like people will call me the ape user no matter what. Some people even made up stories to paint me in bad light. It seems the general sentiment is that it's okay to mistrust men because of statistics. And if he complains about it, he is potentially an ape user. Why is it wrong to want to be trusted by your own wife? If I made her get rid of her quote unquote go bag, I am as good as an ape user in all of your eyes.
He lost.
It seems like I will be painted as an ape user unless proven otherwise. I just don't know how to prove a negative. It's not like I can wear a camera all the time. By the way, in law, for those of you who don't know, um, negatives, it's like you can't prove negative. So a negative you can expect someone to prove a negative. You can expect me to prove that I didn't do something, right? That's usually the person that's claiming something was done needs to prove that that thing was done.
Yeah. You can. It's logic. So you cannot. If I didn't do something, how can I prove I didn't do it? Because I didn't do it. It's not there.
Yeah.
But continue.
Yeah. So let me see. Initially, my feelings were very hurt actually. But now I'm realizing the gravity of the situation I am in. I just can't risk my future on a wife who doesn't trust me because her mere act of making a go bag was used by people here to paint me as an ape user. They said that she must have reason to make a go bag. How was it my fault that she read some blogs and decided to do it? I never did anything, and yet people are just going to accuse me, even if I didn't do anything. You guys don't care what the truth is, so what am I even supposed to do? My only choice is to leave. I
Yeah.
have finally moved out yesterday. Well, this is like an update. I
Mhm.
finally moved out yesterday and I'm pushing forward with divorce. I would like things to be amicable, but my wife is still hell bent on stopping the divorce this so that is a pipe dream for now. I am hoping when divorce becomes real, she will accept the reality. So, KR, question to you: is the guy wrong for asking the woman to get rid of her go bag? Should women, and the second question, so no, let's say two questions. First question: should women have go bags? Is it okay to have go bags? And second question: is it okay to demand from a woman, demand of a woman to get rid of the go bag?
I'll start with the ending. Is it okay to demand her to get rid of it? No, it's not okay because because in that case you become the abuser. So I think two shows ago, 3 shows ago, you covered a story where a guy. What was the story again? The guy was accused. No, yeah, the guy was accused of the his girlfriend of wife froze when he was being accused of ape usership.
Mhm, mhm,
I don't know what the girl, what the we still don't know what she told their friends, but their friends accused the guy of being an ape user. So let's
mhm,
say
mhm.
she tells the story of having a go back, people might assume he's an ape user as well. So it seems like those stories are very it's the same type of story in my how I believe it.
Okay,
Can you
so
can you say she shouldn't create it? It's a level of uh, um, it's a level of trust. At the same time, if you tell her not to have it, it might seem that you're trying to set her up. So yeah,
I see it as a, so that's the first yeah. So okay, you answered both questions. So the question whether or not you can, whether or not it's legitimate for a woman to have it,
she
I
can.
would be, I would be, I mean, I would find it weird if she has it. Let me put it like
Yes,
that. But at
yes,
the
it
same
is.
time, because why would you have it? So that means, hey, something's not wrong. So the first question that will come to mind is, hey,
You can
am
have
I,
it,
so
not
let's
with
say,
me. No.
yeah, well, first and foremost, no, no. First and foremost, do you have it because I'm doing something wrong? So, KR, I always believe you need to reflect. You need to do your self reflection, right? So, am I doing something wrong? Go through it. What did I do that could have caused this? Okay. Am I yelling at her? No. Am I making feel that she's not safe? No. So I need to check the boxes and I need to talk to her as well. Sometimes, KR, it can be that it's not like physical, the fear of physical lack of physical protection, but maybe financial protection. Uh, you never know what is going what's going on. So maybe she's saying, hey, this guy is not taking care of the light bill, for example. I'm talking about the light bill. So not even what Tyler Perry said mentioned to, which is taking care of covering the light bill. You can't cover the light bill. So I can't be in a situation like this. So I need to move, for example. Hey, so after you're doing first reflection, you also need to talk to the woman. you can regard it as a prenup. Why do men ask for prenups a lot of times? They ask for it, hoping that they don't have to use it. But if the time comes, that it would need to be used, then you have it. So in that sense, if the woman says that that's the reason, it would still be weird, but it wouldn't. I don't think it should be a reason to ask her to get rid of it. I'll tell you this though:
You
if she
shouldn't
uses
get
it,
rid of it. If she, if,
no, no,
continue,
I'll
continue.
tell you this though: if she uses it one time, I can promise you one thing: she'll never need to use it again with me, because
Dude,
because if things were so bad that she had to leave, no matter whose doing it is, then it's better she does she it's better if she doesn't come back, because I don't want to be with someone that doesn't feel safe either. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you feel you need to use it, then use it, but don't. I'm not going to put you in a position where you need to feel like you need to use it a second time.
I'm to, personally, I'm not a type to pressure anyone to do anything. So first of all, the thing in this is this. Um, I'll go back. These are the type of people watch these podcasts, these nonsensical podcasts that give the worst advice, because you
Mm,
probably saw it on a podcast. She thought this sounds like a great idea,
mhm.
not understanding the context. Because that's the thing with these podcasts. People talk about crazy stuff, crazy ideas, and then people don't put it into the right context. The crazy thing about this is, I don't think, like I said before, I don't think you should pressure anyone to do anything in relationships. Either you're with me or you're not. He did
Yeah.
the right thing, because if he had moved and pressured her to remove it, he is abusive. Oh, well, shouldn't use that word. But if he doesn't do it, he's still abusive, because then the story will go around as that she has a go back.
Yeah.
You're in a lose-lose situation. He
Yeah.
realized.
Yeah. But even if I flip, let's say if I flip once, then it's done. Then it's done. So it doesn't seem like he's saying he didn't, right? And I've been reading. I'm not gonna read comments. I came across one Reddit story that's like basically a reaction. Someone saying, "Hey, I read that story, and based on that story, so the story I just we're discussing right now, she made her own story, and she's saying, honestly, the amount of, and I quote, honestly, the amount of offended men with their very fragile masculinity in the comments, staring down every woman who said it's good and necessary for a woman to have that, is astonishing. Apparently, being prepared is basically an impending divorce. Is basically an impending divorce. Even some women sharing how their partners just flipped and attacked them one day didn't sway them, because just because it happened once doesn't mean all men are
Okay.
like that. Well, yeah, luckily they aren't, but I still can't look inside your head. I compared it to a prenup. Hey, you have it, but hope you never need it in an apparent, and apparently that was wrong too. Some of the messages I got in regards to that only confirm that women have to make sure. Yeah, so you can see that it's already something that's in their head. But KaiR, if you feel like that, then to
Yeah,
me, it.
find someone who's okay with it. But I don't think so. This is the thing, right? If you ask for a prenup, you're being shamed. That's if always, there has to be balance. If a man asks for a prenup, he will get shamed because he doesn't trust her. If a woman decides to put uh, 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 during the relationship, creates like a safety deposit, so let's say, so she can flee when it's time, she has still money, it's good. It's either or. Let's say if a man creates a go back, would it be accepted?
If what?
If a
Oh
man
yeah,
creates a go back, would it be accepted, or would he be shamed for not trusting her?
men would definitely be shamed for
So that's the thing. There is no.
double
So
standard.
people always want to talk about double standard this, double standard that. Okay, if you create your go back, okay, that's okay. But
Yeah.
don't don't look at the whole situation weird if the man says I cannot trust you.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
it's
the
our
consequence.
about
Everything you do
our
has a consequence.
it's about our relationship. So if you feel like you
And
need to do, I mean, people can be do might do it, outside. If you feel like it's necessary to do it here, then I think I would leave too. I would leave. I don't want to be in I don't want to be in a situation where I need to, if I already know that someone is fearing for her life or for her safety, I don't want to share a house with that person, because something that I'm doing is clearly affecting her. I don't want that. So
doesn't
hey,
even have to be,
go
RJ. It
for
doesn't even have to be something you're doing. It's just a hunch. People
I
start
know.
doing things, they watch. It's just like people watch videos on crypto and start investing in crypto. They don't
Yeah.
even think.
Hey. What did Chaos always say? Single women keep women single. So all
Crazy
these
thing.
single people, single baby mothers who probably chose. So I mean, they chose wrong. They chose the wrong guy, and now they're here trying to bash and project men. But that doesn't mean that, and that's a responsibility of everyone reading it, right? So if you're watching a podcast, reading a blog, it's your responsibility to
Put it in the right
put it in
context.
the right context. If you can take advice from people who you maybe made the right choice to get a good man, and now you're gonna offend them like this. So hey, maybe it's fragile ego, but
One thing I want to say, and this is the context part, because the person you read their response says a lot of women have came into this situation where they needed it. Yes, that's context. Doesn't mean if the 80% if it happens with 80%, doesn't mean the other 20% is also applicable. You have to
yeah,
understand the whole situation you're in.
and we
So
and we
I'm not telling
we know
anyone
that
to do this.
it
Just
doesn't
take
happen with 80% of people. We know
yes.
that. So,
That well, I think it's the chances of a man getting hit upside his head by a female is bigger than the opposite. But that's another topic. I think that's another topic. So you gotta put these things into context, and
yeah,
this is where I think again, if you do it, make sure you do it in the right context.
yeah,
If you're by the way, if you're in an abusive relation, why are you still there? Why
yeah,
why
yeah,
are you still there?
yeah.
What are we doing? Leave right away. Why create a go back if the only reason you create a go back if you want to stay long enough until you think okay, I can take half. This is enough. I go.
Yeah,
Just leave. Why create a go back?
yeah.
It's
I
like
agree.
a anyway.
Yeah, man. Hey guys, let us in the comment section your thoughts and opinions. Do you think that it's okay for women to have go backs? Can men also have go backs? Is it a big deal? Yes or no? Can it be compared to a prenup? Yes or no? This is an open platform. Let us know what your thoughts are. With that being said, wait a minute. I did something here. Wait a minute. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Hey guys. Hey, this is guys. Just so you know, you might see, for those of you, you might see like a change in the setup. I'm currently moving to a new studio. So right now we're working with what we have.
Yes, that's
Show,
why you're saying that's why also the sound is like this. You can
yeah, I don't know.
clearly hear it. It is what it is.
Well,
Just
I wouldn't have mentioned it because now people know. Now people, but anyway, you
they
do
can
know
hear
that
it.
no content creators usually are more skeptical about their own things. But anyway, Um, yeah, it is what it is. In today's show, we'll be discussing Gary Owen's appearance on Club Shay Shay, Shannon's mouth got him in trouble with Shaq, and other topics in the short thoughts segment. Let's jump into the first topic.
Do this.
Yes, before we start, remember to rate the show by pressing the like button, follow us on our socials, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that notification bell. KR.
Yes, Gary Owen tells it all on Club Shay Shay. Quite interesting interview. And before we start, I'm gonna play a part so people get an idea how it all started. First of all, I want to say the magic words: fair use. Okay, can you hear it?
Tell me he's welcome to any barbecue or reunion. We'll see if that's still standing after this conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, Gary Owens.
How you doing?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
I have autism.
There you go. Come on.
Sorry,
man.
sorry, I couldn't help it. It was too easy. I just self-diagnosed myself. I just realized it right now.
Is it gonna be?
I'm sorry.
5 seconds in, the guy already started roasting the previous person who went on the show and talked craziness. Amanda Seals. RJ.
Yeah. I saw the show. I have to say, it was a good show.
Yeah, it's very good.
Wait, did you see it completely?
Yeah, I've watched it till the end.
Okay.
Second part, the last 45 minutes were more free flowing, responding. So it went a bit down to me, but the first, I think it's 2 hours and 45. So I think the first 1.5 hours, 1 hour and 45 minutes. I mean, were very good.
Okay. I found it this was the Cat Williams episode, of course, I watched like 3 times, I think,
Mhm.
from start to end. This one is this episode, the latest episode of Club Shay Shay, which was with Gary Owen, is the first one I've watched completely since the Cat Williams one. It was a
Mhm.
very good one. Gary Owen is very entertaining, very funny, but he
Yep.
also started directly. I mean, I think it was Shannon started directly with questions
You went in.
about the divorce, and up to so much so that at one point Gary Owen made a joke. I'm sure we're gonna get to my upbringing in a bit, like later on. Right? So usually he always starts the show with who was Gary or who
Yeah.
were you, but then Gary said, "I'm sure we'll eventually get to my upbringing in a few, right?" So
Yeah.
yeah, it was a good episode.
Good
Uh,
episode. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he was talking a lot about his divorce, about his relationship with his family members, at least with his family, particularly his kids.
Yeah.
How it's been like 3 years since he's had quality contact with the kids. They do contact via text, I understand, or maybe by phone,
Yeah.
but he hasn't seen them in a while. And when asked whether he thinks that the mom has something to do with it, whether the mom is trying to rally up the kids against them, he took it. It seems like he took responsibility and said, I don't want to say it. I want to say that my relationship wasn't strong enough that it could withstand
Bashing.
the influence of people saying bad things about me on my kids. That
Yeah.
if my relationship was stronger than with the kids, then maybe we would have continued with the content. But from what he said, because Shannon tried to insinuate, or not insinuate, but he thought, just like as is the case with a lot of Rolling Stoners, as is it's the case with a lot of artists who need to travel from city to city, that he didn't have a lot of time with his kids. But he was saying, nah, man, I used to sacrifice, make flights, go to see my children's games, fly back to the city that I was already in to do shows. I didn't miss birthdays. So if what he's saying is true, it seems like he was very involved in the kids' lives. And he was you could clearly see his hurt for the fact that he doesn't have a relationship with them anymore, at least not a strong relationship.
Yeah, I think the thing that happened here is he's clearly he's taking responsibility for his part, and what I think is even more nobler is that he's also saying, okay, I'm not gonna bash the person I used to have a relationship with relating to this. um I'm not gonna bash that person for things I know happened, but if I bash him, it won't make any difference now.
It won't change the
It won't
facts.
change anything, because one thing is clear is that um he takes responsibility for that cheating aspect. And by the way, it's crazy that the guy was telling everyone turn on him. This is a real interesting story about people turning on him. The guy he hang out with on tour, when he fired him, he started telling the wife all the stories about people he shacked up with. The dad, when the dad turned on him, the dad was also, or was it the stepdad? Was either the dad or the stepdad? Dad went and started went on Facebook and said she's a wonderful stepdaughter, not stepdaughter. She's a wonderful daughter and an ex-wife. I'm gonna support her. So people basically turned their backs on him when uh when things didn't went their way, which sounds like typical life stuff. When you don't help people anymore, after a while, they start turning on you because they think they're entitled to whatever you're giving them, whether
Yep.
it's love or money.
Yep.
Crazy, crazy.
Yeah, it's and he was also, I mean, it's very open, very straightforward. He has two kids now, but he said out of respect for the current kids, he's not going to post anything about, no, apologies. Out of respect for his older kids that he has the with his ex-wife, and I think it's a blended family, so maybe one of them already had kids prior to them getting together,
Yeah, the ex-wife.
the ex-wife. So he took care of them as well. He calls them, all of them, his children. So it does seem like he took care of, all the children. And now he has two kids with another, like twins, baby twins, 9-month old. And he was like, no, I'm not going to post anything now until I have a strong relationship with my kids, because I know, with my older kids, because I don't want to create more friction there.
Yeah, you see that. I think we covered this last week, right, with Brian McKnight. That situation where he started to praise his newer kid above the, and also the kids from his current relationship versus the kids he had before, calling them the products of sin and all that other stuff. Maybe that's, by the way, maybe there's been a couple of developments in that. Maybe we can discuss this. Maybe not this show, but the next one. One thing you will see is that when you start, when you try to, there's always a thin line, right? As a dad, if you're not involved, you always can be wrong. You can, even if you're doing the right thing. So, for example, I'll give you an idea how this works. If you don't show up as a dad, you're a deadbeat.
Yeah.
If you show up as a dad, you could be the one who's making trouble. As in, for example, he gave an example when he went through his daughter's graduation. They said to him, "You shouldn't be here. Don't come too close. Don't go talk
Yeah.
to her." But if he didn't show up, he would have been a deadbeat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can be, even if you're doing the right thing, you could be wrong. And if you're wrong, you're wrong. So it's a lose-lose situation. Sometimes it's that. I think he's trying to reach out to the kids. And at a certain point, I hope for him that the kids will realize that um, the thing is this: no one is perfect. Everyone is flawed. Just
Mm-hmm.
because, just because, and said this again, just because someone could be a bad husband doesn't mean they're a bad father.
Mm-hmm.
The relationship between kid and dad or mom is not the same as mom and dad and mom.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two different relationships. But I think people a lot of times they put everything into one basket and then they try to convince the kid that the guy is a horrible person.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't love her at a certain point anymore. And I think that's the thing that created the problem because she forgave him for the infidelity. And then he turns around and cuts and files for divorce. And the whole divorce story is crazy. Them ducking the the papers.
Mm-hmm.
It's that's crazy.
Yeah. Maybe it's what you said. Maybe she's feeling indeed that she sacrificed so much, trying to say, I'm gonna deal with the
Infidelity.
yeah, I'm gonna put up with the infidelity because it's part of who he is and so on and so forth. And then this happens. You know what I realize, however, Care?
Right.
A lot of times these things happen when not these things, I mean breakups happen
Mhm.
when the partner, the wife, the husband also is placed in the public's eye. So
Wow. Close
because
enough.
at one point they had like a podcast and show together. So these things matter. If people don't know who your significant other is, then they won't. Um, I mean, it can always happen, right? But the thing is, when you are both popular, it's like it's or known. It's like I don't know how you call it. Some people out there will start looking for things to break you up. And I mean, in a situation like this where he did something wrong, that's one thing. But
Mhm.
sometimes it can be like small things. I do think that it adds pressure to the situation.
It I think
So it doesn't
I'm not,
not to
I'm not,
say
I'm
that
not
he's
getting your full point, but I think what you're trying to say is, what I do agree on your point is that if you are both well known, there is a pressure for a PR campaign to make sure you're seen as blameless in this situation. People try to clean the streets and push all the dirty stuff on your street. That I
yeah.
do agree with you on. I don't know if there is a bigger pressure to break up
No, I'm not
because
saying there's a bigger pressure to break up. I'm saying um, there's always problems in marriages. There's always problems in relationships. But I do think it gets magnified more. If I bet you that there are a lot of artists who are not with, that they have marital problems, small or big, but people don't know about it. But here, people know both of them. Maybe the wife isn't, I think her name is Kendra. Maybe she's not as popular. No, she's not as popular as
no.
Gary, but still, she's popular enough to make headlines. So if there are any kind of friction, then it puts pressure, and maybe for Gary as well, because she it seems like she was a ride or die, because when they were in therapy, I think when they were in therapy, she said, I think that's when Gary found out that she knew about
Yeah, this wasn't
some of the
therapy. It
girls
was the
counseling.
no, it's what mediation.
Oh, mediation, yeah. And she said, I'm not even mad about it. So that means she knew all this time, but she said, I mean, I think she feels really betrayed.
Yeah,
If I have to put myself in her
yeah.
shoes. But the question is whether or not Gary would have made the same decision if they weren't like in the public eye. And I do think that it adds a
What
layer of
decision are you talking about here?
to leave.
Divorce?
Yeah, to leave.
He wasn't happy anymore.
A lot of people aren't happy in relationships. I'm saying that it puts extra pressure. That's what I'm saying. Maybe he would have gone through it anyway. Maybe
Maybe
he
he was
wouldn't.
maybe he was tired of cheating.
Maybe
He realized he
he's
maybe
not
he
tired of
realized,
sleeping around, but he's tired of cheating.
yeah,
Maybe you're right.
you're going
Didn't
you're
look at.
going home, you're going home to an unhealthy situation that pushes you out every time. Maybe he was like, I'm tired of this. And
Yeah, maybe.
I cannot deal it with my conscience. I'm not happy. That's why this is the thing, right? If I'm not here to choose any sides, because I mean he did cheat, so I mean he's not on the good side at least. But in this case, if let's act if he's not happy, if he's not, should he just stay in the relationship, or should he get his go back?
Well, they did try to solve the problem a couple of times. It didn't go
Yes,
as planned.
didn't go.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
have to get your go back at a certain point, even if that breaks up the family.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that the biggest problem here was that I think where it went wrong is the whole sequence of it all, also in the beginning, where he basically filed for divorce, and then it turned into a tit for tat, where he filed for divorce. He called her and said basically the person who was going to serve her was at the door. I think he said it was the Amazon person. She didn't open the door, and there it began as well. It she responded. So what he said was she responded quite okay at the beginning, and then probably it set into her, and then she was like, "Oh, this is how we're gonna do it." Then she filed for
Mm-hmm.
divorce in LA as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that also had to do with this whole thing. So basically, she was okay with it, um, but then she got some time, maybe went to talk some other people, and then they say, that guy, after all you've done for him, you haven't he cheated on you, and then you didn't file for divorce, and now he does this to you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame anyone when someone else is cheating. You should
Yeah.
you should choose for yourself.
And maybe she also, I mean, after everything she's gone through, she might be thinking, I'm okay with a divorce, but it should happen on my terms.
Yes.
And then you come and you want to serve me. You want to come serve me. I mean, I think that's, we talked about it in the GZ Genie Mai story as well, right?
Yeah.
It seems like everyone's calm and collected, trying to find themselves, but then everyone wants to express their truths in court documents.
Yeah, that's a crazy
Yeah.
story. That's a crazy story. So, but to,
And the
to
mom is
close,
with the
I think,
kids the most. The mom was probably crying. They could see the kid. They could see the mom crying. The men are usually not that emotional, so
yeah,
you would get more sympathy from the woman than you would get from the man. And that doesn't mean that. I mean, if you look at Gary, you can see. They say that people that laugh a lot oftentimes are depressed inside or are going through things inside. And Gary does seem like that kind of person. So he makes jokes. He makes jokes about his father. He makes jokes about his stepfather. Makes jokes about his mother, his brother. So I mean, but you can see the pain. So as he's telling the stories, he's making jokes, but you can clearly see the pain. But
yeah,
from a children's perspective, You see your mom crying, you see your mom going through the things. Like she's more in line with her emotions, and then
Yeah,
I don't get
that's
why you wouldn't talk to your father because that's something else. But hey,
I think people get in their feelings and they assume that's usually with kids, right? They hear a story and then they never ask themselves, let me hear the different perspective to balance it out. They hear the story of the mom or the dad, depending on whose side you are, and then you start believing the story in full. It's never the full story. You have to listen to both sides and learn from that and try to understand that situation. I mean, yeah, it's a thing that always happens. You got to ask yourself if people are smart enough to process these kind of things. Usually kids are very emotional, attached to either the mom or the dad. um and usually in these cases, when you're dealing with custody, mom gets full custody, or at least the primary custody, and that also influences the whole stuff because then she has time to talk to kids see her every day, and the dad only once a day. She can bash him. Usually dads also don't bash the mom. Or those are the things. I mean, we've covered these kind of stories as well in the past with what's her name again? Maddie Hart. That was an even crazier story. But
yeah,
yeah,
that.
anything else you want to do? Say it as closing.
No, I hope this ends well. I hope that Gary can get a relationship, can restore a relationship with the kids. It's a sad thing to see, and I hope the kids as well. I mean, doesn't sound from what we heard, KR, that he did something, that would justify them not talking to him. Seems like he did everything he could in his power to become a good father, and that's what we're talking about. We're talking about fatherhood. Maybe he wasn't a good husband. At least I don't think he won't mind saying that he wasn't a good father, but he was a good kid. And I know the lines are
What?
sometimes
He's a
he was good for the kids.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I said he was a good kid. Yeah, and he said that everything he did for his children was to not be the father and stepfather he had, who were ape users, who were bad people, who were like bums. And it seems like he did everything the opposite. Yet, in the
That's
eyes
true.
of the children, he's a bum.
You
That's,
can win, bro. You can win. You can win.
yeah.
Hey, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Don't forget. Don't I always say. I always refer to Tupac's "Dear Mama." There's the oh, that song tells you everything you need to know. You always was a crack fiend, mama. You never heard. You always was a crack fiend, papa. Because if he's a crack fiend, he's a bum. Anyway,
He's a
let's
bum.
close
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Let's close this.
Yes, let's close this. Hey, we're gonna move to the next topic. We're gonna talk about Shaq and Shannon Sharpe, getting into it. But before we do that, remember to rate the show by pressing the like button and follow us on our other socials and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so you stay up to date when we drop new videos. KR.
Yes, yes. Shaq dropped a new diss track. Since guys, if you haven't watched Monday show, go check it out. We broke down that beef between Kendrick and Drake in pieces.
Ray.
We separated everything on the table and we analyzed the beef. And guess what? Shaq watched it and he thought, I'm gonna drop. No, I'm looking. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Shaq decided to drop a diss track towards Shannon because Shannon was talking trash on his podcast. Let me share my screen real quick. Shaq dropped the following. Whenever y'all want to listen to a podcast when the host has G14 classifications, tune into the Big Pod with Shaq. And he tags a bunch of people. And then he says, love y'all. Now I'm done with this. I'll be at the Bahamas crib if anyone needs me. Woo! What a week. First I found out they ain't love me, and now this. But remember, now EQ pawn, I don't know what he's trying. You can never break up the unbreakable. And to all the people that know both of us, don't call me. I'll never, it will never me a sit down. It will never be a sit down. Okay. Do you know Shaq from the early days, RJ? What he was known for? Because now he's a bubbly guy. He's a lovable guy. What?
Shaq was here and then Shaq was there, right? He was
In the beginning, no. This was the sides where the faces were going after he was slapping them.
yeah.
Back in the days, Shaq was known for slapping people on the court. He was known for slap. He even slapped Kobe.
Yeah, they got into a fight.
He slapped Kobe. So I think what happens here is that it seems to me like he dropped the diss track to close it out so he doesn't have to slap Shannon when he sees him. Maybe that's a very radical way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Because I have to go radical, so it's funny.
Yeah. Well, Shannon took it very straightforward because he started. Shaq said, yeah, if I look at you, you're 51, top 100. I'm the most dominant center and so on. What is it? G14 classification, things like that. Hey, but no one is exempted from being commented on. And Shannon said, hey, what I can say is that I gave it everything I had. Can you say the same? And that, KaiR, you can have G's 14 classification. But that's a question that you need to answer for yourself. If your peak is... Well, that's always where Shaq goes to, right? He always, with Charles as well, he always talks about Charles Barkley saying, yeah, you don't have any rings, you don't have any rings. Well, Kenny the Jet Smith has rings, but Charles Barkley was a way better player. But does it make sense that Kenny can talk, but Charles can't? You know, it's and that's the whole thing. Charles Barkley had bad luck because he had to play against. He was in the Michael Jordan era.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's way more than that. You can't. Maybe Shannon Sharpe is the 51st of the league, but what Shannon Sharpe said, and that's to me, it holds true. If I gave it everything I had, then I'm satisfied. Moxie Bolt was one of the shortest NBA player to play in the NBA. Maybe he was the shortest. You had Nate Robinson. They didn't have the careers that Shaq did. They didn't have the careers that Kobe did, that Michael Jordan had. Isaiah Thomas, another one, small guy. He didn't have the same career, but these people, when you see them play, they have to give it everything they have. So
I'm gonna ask you again. Does it matter that he didn't give it all? Does it matter?
To Shaq, it does.
Did he had to do to give it all?
Did who had to do what?
Shaq. Did he had to give it all to win whatever he had to win?
No, he didn't.
He doesn't have to.
He was the dominant player, yeah.
He was the dominant player. He was a lazy guy according to Kobe himself. That's why they got into into problems with each other. Kobe was saying he was too lazy. Pause.
Yeah.
They didn't get into each other, but they got into fisticuffs. They put it in. Pause. But so he didn't have to. He was so talented that he could get by with only his talent. Majority of the cases.
Yeah, but that's but he's
But
saying it. So that's what he's saying. So Shaq is saying that. But
Shannon is
what's
saying
the
I
difference?
gave it all. I can say I gave it all. Shannon's critique was kind of a weird critique towards him.
What was it?
I don't even understand why he critiqued him in the first place.
What was his original critique then?
So this is what Shannon said. Shaq is never brought up in the GOAT conversation. He said on Nightcap. And I think a part of him is envious of that.
Well, I have a question to you, KaiR. Can I ask a question? Am I allowed
Yes.
to ask a question? Okay.
Now he's trying to form the
Can
question.
we can we comment on, because you and I we watch the NFL. You
Mhm,
watch it way more than I do.
mhm.
They expect us, the fans, to join. They expect us, the fans, to pay. We pay to get NFL all access pass. We pay to go to games. We pay to buy merch. We, the supporters, right? We contribute to the league. Same goes for the NBA. Do you agree? Yes or
Yeah,
no?
we contribute. Yeah.
We contribute. Is it fair to ask for our money and attention and time, but tell us to shut the F up when we want to say something about something we are investing in? Because we're investing in our time, right? Our how we want to
Well, you're framing it so let me go back because you're trying to frame it as such that it's either yes or no. So the whole idea, so this is what it started as. This is
no,
the
but
weird stuff about
so
this.
my point, just to finish, my point is this. Shannon Sharpe, I think we both agree that Shannon Sharpe is a very he's a very likable guy, and but not only that, he gets traction. You can see it on his podcast. You could
Yes.
see it
You
when he was
started to
on
become an obstruction, but okay.
Undisputed, and now you're seeing it. And now you're seeing it at ESPN. You see
Yeah.
it wherever he is. He gets people talking. So the fact that he's talking about these things also get people talking. So they get people more interested, etc., etc. He is contributing to the sport. He's making a comment. Now, why can't he? Why? My whole point is this: why can't he just say what his opinion is? Why
But
is that a problem?
this is the problem. He's so the initial. Do you know where it started at? Where
Where?
it started?
Where?
It started when Shaq said that the MVP of Jokic should have gone to Shea Gillis
Yeah,
Alexander.
SGA. Yeah.
That's where it started. How does his comment? So instead of commenting on that, suddenly it becomes an ad hominem.
I
What
get
are
it.
we
I get what
talking
you're
about?
saying. I get what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
If we're talking about, so this is the thing
I get what you're saying.
I don't. Shannon tends to do this a lot, where he basically he turns a he responds to something and then he turns it into ad hominem. What are we doing? And this is why he dropped the diss track. I understand. I do agree with you on what you're saying, but in this case, he's responding on
He's
a
attacking him personally, is what you're saying, instead of
yeah, Shaq told basically that Jokey shouldn't have become the MVP. It should have been SGA. And then suddenly it goes, he turns around and says Shaq is never brought up in the GOAT conversation. What does that have to do with Jokic?
I'll give you that. You're right.
What are we doing?
Well,
And I,
you're right. It's still his. I mean, it's still his opinion, but
it's his
he
opinion, but
didn't have to go that route. That's what you're saying.
yes, comment on the almost.
So my question to you then, so my question to you is: do you think? Are you willing to say that Shaq, Ernie, Charles, uh, all the other people we know, Stephen A, they don't do it? I
What?
think they do. The ad hominem. So the no, not the ad hominem. Well, it is an ad hominem, but it's basically a speculation as to why. They always do things like that because the line between commenting on the play and the person is
It's
very
a very thin line. When you
it's
connect,
a
you
thin line.
when
And
you're critiquing someone, it can turn into an ad hominem as soon as you start going off the line.
yeah.
The line
Now
is basketball. If you start
Kobe,
critiquing someone's
yeah,
character,
I
this
agree.
is the
I
thing.
agree. I agree. But Kobe had 5 championships
Yes.
and he called him lazy. And
Yes.
still, Shaq also had something to say, but he has more than Shaq. So where is the line drawn? So because by that logic, and my question to you is, if you call someone lazy, is that so? The fact that he called him lazy, is that considered an ad hominem attack?
It isn't ad hominem if the initial talk is about Jokic.
No, no, no. I know, but I'm telling you, if Kobe Kobe did call Shaq lazy.
Yes.
Was that an ad hominem attack?
Oh, that's
It's a
a thin line. That's a
it's a
thin
thin
line.
line.
That's a thin
That's what
line
I'm
because
saying.
yes, I do agree with you on that. That's a very thin line because
So
basically, you know,
and
it's a
Shaq's
character. It's a
and
character critique. Is that it's not a skill critique, but in order to that character aspect, you need it to become you tie it with a skill. So it could be
because
considered a
Kobe's
homonym. It could also be
Kobe's
not.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Kobe's statement was that if Shaq had put in all the time, work, and effort in his game, he would be the best player in the world. So that's like
Yes,
a
but he was
compliment.
already
But
the best center.
no, he's the most dominant center. He's the most dominant center. They don't call him, and that's what. And
Okay,
to be honest,
he's the
I
most
would
dominant.
if so. Let me tell you this. So he's
What is the
not in
difference
the.
between dominant and best?
I think best is if you look at achievements. So this is my point. So if you ask me, I want to play with the most dominant center. I don't want to play with the best center. But
But so
as it relates to the ranks, you
are we
can.
looking? So is rings now what we look at?
I
Best.
think I think overall achievement, but usually he's not regarded as the best center. He's regarded
So
as the most. So let me give you an example.
okay.
Um,
I don't believe in that separation between best and most dominant. People are
well,
making
the,
stuff up as we go because if that is true,
no,
then
it's not. It's not.
White Mamba is better than he's better than Charles Barkley because he has more
Well,
achievements.
no, let me put it like this. No, it's two different. There are two different things. Let's say you have a quarterback that can throw 95, that he completes 95% of throws.
Mm-hmm.
95% of throws.
Yes.
He has 0 Super Bowl wins, and in a 10-year career, he went to the playoffs twice and lost in the first round. He is still the most accurate player, the most accurate thrower, but he's not the best. He would not be considered the best quarterback. So the most dominant, why do they call him the most dominant? Because when Shaq got the ball in the paint, no, KR, no one could stop him. And
Yes.
when Yao had a block, oh, it's like a big deal. That's because no one blocks him. But that's what the most dominant player is. I want to play with the most dominant
Yes,
set.
but I don't believe
But
in
if
that.
you're gonna look at the best,
That's
then you need
BS
to see.
because what you described was basically Montana. He was
Okay.
a great quarterback, accurate, went to the playoffs and always choked. 0 rings.
Is he the
He's
best
considered
QB?
one of the best. He's
Mhm.
also in the Hall of Fame.
But you can be in the Hall of Fame because
He's one
you
of
did
the
achieve.
best. We don't say no one says Aaron Rodgers is the most dominant QB. No one says that. Either you're one of the best or you're not.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying. I'm
I
just
I
so.
guess this is basketball stuff where they try to
No,
put
don't
people in
nah,
boxes.
don't.
In boxes.
Well,
He's one
they
of the
put
best.
people. They put people in
How
boxes,
can
and
you be
and
most dominant ever? How can you be the most dominant ever and you're not considered one of the best?
he is
What kind of stupidity is that?
he is considered one of the best, but not he's not considered the top center.
Why not?
They put other people in front of him. So let me put it like this: if it was my, they're putting people that was before him in the top
Okay.
list.
No, it is what it is. Everyone
I
can believe whatever they
again,
want.
I saw Shaq. I saw Shaq. I want if I had a team, I want Shaq to play. But as it relates to the rankings, you're also talking about different time periods. Shaq is considered as one of the best. He's not considered as the best. He is, however, considered as the most dominant. It's just like being dominant
I
is
do
a
believe
different thing.
I
You
understand what
maybe
you're trying
maybe
to
you're
say,
no
but
KR. You can be the best. You can be the best shooting. Let's say you're a point guard. You can be the
Mhm.
best 3-point shooting uh, um, point guard. That doesn't mean you're the best point guard. You have one element that you're good in, and he's good down the paint. He's dominant down the paint. He can shoot, but he's dominant down the paint. If he gets the ball, he can get to the paint. He can get a foul. He's the most dominant player. He gets it, you can't stop him basically. But there's another one maybe who's not as dominant inside, but he can shoot and he can hook and he can pass. All these things make for a that's the difference. But he is considered one of the best.
okay. But at the end, I think this is a he started with it all started about Jokic and at the end it's about Shaq. So I think that's the problem why Shaq dropped that diss track. Which I think is kind of a funny thing. He doesn't take it serious, by the way, because otherwise he would have addressed it through social media rather than dropping a diss track. He was just having fun with it, I think.
Mhm.
Anything you want to say as closing?
No man, I think this is just it is what it is. Let's hope we can see Shaq on Club Shay Shay soon.
I hope not. For he slaps
He won't
the
slap.
Shay Shay out of Shannon.
He won't slap.
Anyway, let's go through to the final part of the show, which is the short thoughts. And let's
Yes,
close today's
yes.
show as usual with the short thought topics, where we basically discuss short responses, commonplace situations, and trending topics. RJ,
Yeah. Remember to rate the show by pressing the like button and don't forget to follow us on our socials, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and hit that notification bell. KR.
yes, man, we are here. So, do you remember last time we talked about Tiffany
I do,
and
yeah.
Lori? We said
Lori
Lori
Lightfoot, yeah.
would start a probe into the finances. And are you still there, by the way? No, he's not. So what happened was, yeah, Lori was supposed to start a probe into the finances of Tiffany Henyard, also known as the worst mayor of America, aka the City Girl Mayor. Um, last show we talked about the situation, and I said back then that there will be nothing found in this case? Chances are, well, I guess we'll never know because she vetoed this probe and threw it into the trash can. RJ.
Yeah. This is no, not even put it like this. I heard a lot of things about Chirac, right? Chicago when I was younger, listening to music, and I was like, I don't want to go there because, I mean, it seems like the whole state is infested with firearm wars. But I don't think that's the biggest threat to the state. Tiffany Henyard might be worse than Chirac. He vetoes the finance probe by Lori Lightfoot. Why would you do it if there are already suspicions that you're doing things that you're not supposed to be doing?
It's a good question.
And how is it? This is maybe more of a constitutional structure question, but how is it possible that she can veto it? And why did she veto it? What grounds did she use?
Well, I can read. I have a transcript I have of that situation. So this is
Okay.
what they're saying. Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Dallas, erupted in a furious rant on Monday evening as she shut down the probe, telling her colleagues at a city council meeting, guess what she said? How dare you?
I'm black.
No. See, that's one thing she didn't say. She said
Okay,
the
this time.
following. This time she didn't use that. You know it's a veto power. So how dare you think you can come into someone's town and do work? There is a right way to do things, and this is not just that. Lightfoot will not be paid for her services.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But she
I
will
cannot.
do it though.
She vetoed not being paid, so I guess the only one who is allowed to be get paid in Dalton is Miss Henyard,
Yeah. Well, what
because
I think can happen.
she also blocked anyone who's replacing her in the other job to get the same salary as her.
Yeah, that's
So if
crazy,
you're
right?
doing, if you use, if for that, I can't recall which of the two uh roles it is. It's either the mayor or the head of the city council, but one of the two, if she's sitting there, she will earn 100,000. If she's not the sitting person leading this group, the person who's following her will earn 50,000, so half of it. That's kind of crazy.
Crazy. Yeah.
That's crazy, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, we can do a Sun Tzu on that, right?
Can do a
The
full Sun Tzu,
but
but the only
but,
thing that
but
happens is at the end she'll do seppuku. So seppuku.
what I think though is that at least it wouldn't surprise me if Lori Lightfoot gets financed by other instances that want this to end. So, okay, city, you don't want to pay her? Don't worry. We'll take care of it. And maybe we'll finance her more now, give her more money and resources to work with so that we'll be sure that at the end of the your tenure, you're gone. You're gone.
Yeah, it's getting out of hand. I mean, they want to get her out. They're trying everything. She also has the subpoenas from the FBI.
Okay. Who asked him? Lori.
She received no. She received
Oh, the
uh
subpoena. Okay. Yeah,
yeah, a
that's
bunch of
how it starts.
Tiffany. It starts. It's already starting. The fall is already on its way. So whether she stops this or not, I don't think it's gonna make any difference. It's not gonna make any difference. She's out of here. It's just a matter of time. It's just a
Okay,
matter
so
of time. So yeah, I think that's all for today, man. I think that's all.
yeah. Hey guys, thank you if you're still here for tuning in. Whatever your thoughts are, let us know in the comment section below. Please let us know, of course, if you've already subscribed. If you haven't done so already, do so. Rate the show by pressing the like button and follow us on our socials. And after subscribing to the channel, remember to hit the notification bell so you stay up to date when we drop new videos. Let's have a healthy conversation in the comment section. Until next time, peace.
Peace.